I always feel like every video on YouTube is going to be my last because the insane amounts of censorship. You could try just not being an asshole. I am a full asshole on my mother's side and quarter on my father's, so I just have come to accept it. You can support me on a BitChute, an Odysee, or support the vitally important work I do, bringing red pills to the normie on coffee. These notebooks and pens don't pay for themselves, though I guess if I'm being perfectly honest, they're pretty cheap, and the videos actually don't cost a whole lot of money to make, which is not a good way to undersell it when you're asking for cash. Anyway, so FYI, people who watch this also mostly watch EVS, as it turns out. Then your boy, Yellow Flash, Clownfish, and Heels versus Babyface. Clownfish is a trip because they are left-wingers who realize that the left is absolutely insane, and not all the right where Hugo Boss, but the private chat that my Discord will lead you to actually does, so definitely avoid it. Do you want a trans lecture in a comic book that you pay for $4 for? There are all kinds of trans these days. You can be transsexual, racial, species, or even events in history. Even trans religion. It is all perfectly fine. I have PTSD from the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Oahu. But you're not actually those things. I know plenty of people who like to cross-dress. It's just part of the fun, along with hairdressing, musical theater, and interior design. They don't actually think there's something they're not. Twitter and Tumblr are like people who aren't actually trans interpretation of what trans people are actually like. But the hormone thing, out of Israel's Teva Pharmaceuticals, is a bit problematic. Joy, what a gift to the world they have been, because it permanently sterilizes and mutilates kids. It wasn't that long ago that most people would say that those who would hurt kids should be censored and donated to Alaskan Censored as an offering to Gaia, the Earth Mother. But due to cultural Marxism, thanks Moses Mordecai Levy, it is now stunning and brave. Really, once you make a character look like this, it's always going to look like Freddie Mercury, or what was that song, YMCA? The comic has a lecture on a trans character making growth hormones with which to feminize men and boys, and they are portrayed as the good guys, or the good them. Just because you had a traumatic childhood, and like most people did, doesn't mean that you need to try to break children so that you can create more broken people. A society that does this to children is not a society that is stable. It's a Weimar, Sodom, and Gomorrah situation. It's a slippery slope into openly turning kids into catamites for the abuse by sociopathic adults. Deleting people once they hit 65 so the state can redistribute their assets before they can spend them in retirement, then turning them into Soylent Green. Why not just delete all disabled people, or anyone who isn't on track to hit 100 IQ at 18 will be turned into fertilizer. A country that doesn't have a core is rootless and easily controlled by globalists. Trans kids is stunning and brave. They can make you believe absurdities. They will make you commit atrocities. The Constitution, it turns out, is just a piece of paper without the people who want to abide by its dogma. You might as well just toss it and separate into ideological or ethno-tribal groups for protection from those who would prey on the future of the tribe. In a few years, after the Civil War and separation, inshallah, you can have the coastal liberal elites going to watch little boys dance all they wish. That's not hyperbole. They actually do this. Trans drag boys go on stage and people throw money at them. To see it is one thing. You will feel a certain way about the people who are applauding dancing boys. But then you look around. No police kicking down the doors. No mayor losing his mind over it and having a bishop perform an exorcism to, cleanse the building property itself. The media applauds it. Then you'll notice those who push this and celebrate this, your almonds will start to activate. You'll notice, dog, leave me alone. You'll notice more. Dog, stop it. Soon, your noticing levels will go to levels previously unimagined. Your mind will start extrapolating into the future based on past events. Imagine a Viking mixed with a crusader riding a dragon, breathing atomic hellfire at these, I'll say, bad people. Add in some of that Christ whipping the money changers out of the temple. Those who worship the base filth and corruption have no place among men or gods. Do you feel like you're taking crazy pills? Get on Gab. You'll be among people who are also disgusted with this modern degeneracy. Stop it. Anyway, back to the comic before Douglas interrupts us. I identify as a Nigerian woman. Then that may be a true or false statement, but I would never be a Nigerian woman any more than I can be a cat or my cat self. In this part of the universe, it's causal. For the macroscopic world, time to the individual is a one-way journey, and I know there's some exceptions for, very, very, very small particles. There's a theory that there's only one particle, there's only one thing in the universe, it's an electron zipping backward and forward through time to create all that you see before you. Coffee cups break, they don't reassemble themselves. Words refer to things or concepts so man may understand his universe. People see a thing and they find words to refer to it, so the tribe is all on the same page. In prehistory, before writing, a woman was breasts that gave milk. A woman carried life, brought life forth, and fed life. Peak womanhood is a breastfeeding mother. When we started writing, a woman was a V carved in stone. The cuneiform, which later the vulgarity cunt was representing womanhood. And it wasn't, it's later a vulgarity. It's just representing the simplest form for a woman is the V symbol. Where it represents where life comes from. It's different from the modern concept of mindless sex and prawn created by filthy globalists who want to denigrate men and women and decrease pair bonding. They want to create a rootless people who are easily controlled. Women brought life. Oh, a dog just walked on me. They weren't just objects to provide dopamine. The female totem was large pregnancy breasts and a belly to bring good luck to the family. Yeah, there was the ideal man or woman to aspire to. There were people who fell short. The rare sterile woman or one who had too many miscarriages. Those were tragedies, burdens on the tribe who still had to feed her and house her. For most of human history, life was really hard. Disabled kids were probably going to get fed to the wolves. In hard winters, the elderly was probably going to be fed to the young. You will do anything to survive. And most of human history was like hunting and gathering, living in tents. But cities breed degeneracy. Until we get to this point where 2 + 2 = 5. How many fingers, Winston? Now words have different definitions depending on your tribe. We were always at war with Oceania. Women and men have hard biological definitions, XX, XY, as the first two designators. But humans define a spectrum of female and male. A woman of many children who teaches them plants, carving, knots, napping stone, fishing, is peak womanhood. Same for a good man who teaches the tribal youth. Women are very valuable for a tribe for the ability to create the future. Lower level men are mostly fungible. If they're killed hunting, it's not such a big deal, unless he was an alpha who had special skills or was really good at making decisions. This comic defines a real woman as a man who puts on lipstick. Now, this point is where I had to make the video again, so maybe I should just not comment on it. This guy isn't listening to a word I say. Welcome to womanhood. Telling a trans woman welcome to womanhood is actually kind of condescending. They're middle of a place burning down. And it implies that we're not real women until and unless we transition? No, these are the two panels. There's nothing in between these panels. This setup doesn't lead to this conclusion. The author, I don't know if I want to show their face, is so bending over backwards to grind an axe. I apologize. I was not aware of that. The place is burning down around you, and you're having a lecture on trans issues. This was a little bit funny though. Hey, my cousin is trans. Do you know her? She's whatever. Uh, Trans people don't know all know each other, asshole. People do that with everybody. It doesn't matter if you're black or Russian or Polish or whatever. Oh, you know, so and so. Like, are you kidding? How? That doesn't. That's insane. I thought that was funny, but everything else is okay. This is the cringe levels are out of this effing world. Now, you didn't have to take me out for cocktails. It was the least I could do. You educated me, and I am grateful. No, they gave you their opinion on a topic. If it's a wrong opinion, is it really education? I don't know. Okay, I was going to show you a Twitter thing, one of their Twitters. Don't harass them or contact me anyway. I guess I won't. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, go to Odysee and bitch it. See, these videos are kind of a bitch to make because they're such a super protected class that any criticism is just gonna get you yeeted right the heck off the platform. It's like, well, it's not really fair. It means it means you're gonna get a lot of bad comics, is what it means. This is essentially a subsidy to pay people to say that we did a trans comic. That's a Pride comic. Like DC, Marvel, everyone's got a Pride comic version, and DC's, at least the cover looked better than this. How careful was that?